time to get busy. My man, are you a musician as well?
You know,
I know. Was that an air guitar?
There's no such thing. I think that these two fingers are the best musical instrument ever by pressing a button to play something.
Oh,
yeah.
I was I know like there are woodwinds and percussion instruments, but I mean the two fingers. Are you drumming or
two fingers? Yeah, the two fingers. No, I press buttons. I'm by no stretch of the imagination a musician. I mean, you know what? I think that I wanted to, when I was very young, when I was about 8 or 9, I actually wanted to learn to play the bass guitar because, hey man, I'm Rick James, Prince, Eric Clapton. But yeah, I did not.
Eric Clapton, is that like Layla got me? Okay.
How come you didn't sing a Prince or
I gave you a Purple Rain?
Or what about Rick James?
Rick James, ooh,
oh man,
super freak, you're super freak.
The only one that everybody knows.
There's a whole heap. Yeah. I'll give you one finger. 96. That was your finger. Because yes, you were number one. As is this podcast, Donovan Bailey Running Things, Jason Portwando alongside the living legend and, track and field. I know we missed out last week. You were on location in Calgary.
Yes.
Out Western Canada doing your thing. But track and field right now is like the gift that just keeps on giving.
Indeed. I think that you were a little impatient the last time we sat down to talk to our great public.
Here we go.
Well, dude, you were. You kind of
I am impatient.
Because he goes, dude, where are all these times? What's going on? I'm like, hey, it is what it is, man.
You agreed. The guys have been sucking.
Well, no. What I said is the time of year that it doesn't really matter, and one of the things that we have to think about is at this time. Well, that time was 2 weeks ago. It really is about athletes trying to stay healthy and executing their races. And where are we today?
We are okay. Well, let's get to it.
Where are we today?
Well, let's get to it because we have a lot of listeners globally. Okay. Oblique Seville apparently was motivated by what we had to say with the ladies outshining the guys in the sprints.
Took it personal.
Which brings us to our race of the week. Brought to you by Biopods. Check out biopods.com. Empower your every step. Listen to what happened in Jamaica recently. Ooh.
The set position. Lions got a cracking start. Hughes, Seville, and Oman Yala trying to stay with them. Seville is running a stout race. Lions coming back at him. Oblique Seville produces a stunning performance. Big performance on the big occasion.
Big things are going. Big things are going. 982, a personal best, a world-leading mark. Noah Lyles relegated to second. When you saw this, what was your first reaction?
You know, I have a lot of thoughts on this race, actually. Yes, I think that let's start with taking things personal. There's always been, not always been, but I mean, Jamaica, as we know, has an incredible history of amazing sprinters, track and field athletes, but definitely sprinters. Mm-hmm. And we know that you have an island of 3 million people versus a country of 350 million people. There's always been this incredible rivalry between the U.S. and Jamaica, or whoever else is representing the diaspora.
Right.
I thought he took it personally. Number one, Oblique ran a race that he could have ran sub 9.8. Number two, I think that Noah Lyles, obviously great sprinter, world champion, definitely wants to go back to the Olympics and become Olympic champion. He's been talking a lot about the great Usain Bolt's record. Maybe. I mean, and Jason, this might be just speculation. Maybe Oblique Seville thought that, hold on here, the great Usain Bolt's retired. You sound like you're disrespecting the big man. So hold on, I'm going to show you who else is in this race right now, right? Oblique is at home at the National Stadium where he's been running since he was a schoolboy. So at the end of the day, I just think that he took it personally and he just said, you know what, let me lay one in here and let me send a message that maybe what Noah needs to be doing is focusing on the people that he's competing against today as opposed to the record that he's trying to get to.
For me, all about execution.
Yes.
Reaction time was 0.163. He exploded out of the blocks. He took over early,
Right.
dominated late, even had time to look over and say, take that. Take that in your neck back. That was unbelievable. I mean, those are the fastest 2 times this year.
Right.
9.82 for Seville, 9.85 for Lyles.
Right.
I mean, what a race. And you're right, because now this reignites that Jamaica-U.S. rivalry. It's still been there on the ladies' side, but the guys' side has been kind of lacking since Usain stepped aside.
Well, the rivalry it's certainly been reignited, and now Oblique's definitely got some big shoes to fill, because now becomes consistency.
Right.
Noah's been speaking all year, and again, rightfully so. He's been the number one guy. Oblique now has to show up at trials and get ready for Paris, right? And obviously we've spoken about Oblique. I actually thought that at the World Championships last year, he would have actually made the podium because he was running so smoothly, right? And his coach, Glenn Mills, must know something. This guy is on the exact same, training program that Usain is. Obviously much shorter in stature, but you're right, Jason. When you think about execution, he popped out of the blocks and he executed perfectly in his transitions. That allowed him to be so comfortable to look over at Noah, for the last bit. So yeah, this is definitely sending a message. And we're talking about just these two. Remember that there was another 2 or 3 people. There's 3 people in the race that are sub 10 global sprinters.
Yes, good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
So again, this is no slouch, but it is a one race Diamond League or permit meet. It's going to show a lot between the athletes' mental preparation, what rounds will do to them when they get to the games. But man, this was obviously our race of the week, and I got to tell you, man, it's certainly warning shots or shots fired to all the other athletes out there from Oblique, to let them know that he's also going to be one of the guys that's going to be contending.
This is amazing stuff. I mean, I'm like a kid in a candy shop. And you're right, by the way, because you had Seville, you had Lyles obviously going 1-2. Omanyala was third in 10.02.
Right. Zarnell
Hughes was fifth.
Absolutely.
Josephus Lyles was also in there. This was a good bunch.
Well, Josephus is not going to be a player at all.
No.
But I'm saying all the others, I mean, obviously he's...
But the top 4 guys we just mentioned, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, yeah, of course. All of those guys are players. These are sub 10, sub 10, sub 20 guys, and will be players going forward. I mean, I think that Zarnell, someone that can easily make it to the podium. Omanyala is incredible. And
yep.
I actually, and Jason, I talked to you about this a couple of weeks ago. I like how what I mean, obviously there's a change in his program because, what he's used to doing is running these incredibly fast times at the start of the season. And it seemed like he's ramping up. You've got Sambini, who's not in the race, but was in Stockholm. I like him. He's been very consistent this year.
Good point.
He's the vet. He knows what it is that he needs to do. It's simply about execution for him. We talked about, again, 2 weeks ago, when you're talking about not fast times being run, a lot of the athletes who feel that they're going to be players now are just getting into it. De Grasse. I mean, there's a few guys that are rolling in right now, man, which is setting up the summer for some spectacular rivalries and times and competitions.
You spoke of Diamond League action at Eugene. We did see Christian Coleman win.
Right.
995. Yeah, Omanyala was second in there. We should also mention Simbine. You're right. He just continues to be consistent, winning in Oslo. So now I'm feeling a lot better about the men's side. I just felt it was it's kind of stale, kind of stagnant, kind of just. The girls had me more excited, but now
they always have you.
The women. We have a dedicated listener who says, "Jason, you keep saying girls."
Yes,
and I'm right.
The ladies.
They are women.
Ladies.
They are women. Yes, the ladies. So,
right.
But yeah, no. So now the plot thickens for sure in terms of the men. So your top five now, if you had to give me on the guys' side, who's leading the way? Does Seville, vault to the top of your top five? Or is it just a one-off and you need to see a little bit more?
No, I got to see. No, I got to see more. First of all, Oblique Seville is an exceptional talent.
Is he inside your top five now?
Dude, you keep asking me about top five. First of all these things are going to change. What I can do is tell you about, I could probably name 5 people who I think are going to be players that are going to be potential winners. No, I can't do that.
I'll give you one, Lyles. How about that?
Well, you've got minimum 3 Americans. So the Americans that are going, period.
Okay.
Right? So the top 3 Americans.
So you go Lyles.
The top 3 Americans. I don't know who they might be.
You go Curly.
Coleman.
Okay. Give me 2 more.
Courtney, I
don't think yet. I still think this is a learning year for him.
Dude, and I'm saying to you, that's just off the top of my head.
Okay, so those are 3. Give me 2 more.
Are you talking about from around the world?
Yeah.
Oh, for God's sakes, that's crazy, dude. Let's see if Tobago can win the 100 and the 200.
Okay, Tobago. So you got room for one more.
Hold on. No, but that's my point. Amanyala is supposed to be there doing something.
Right.
Right? Zarnell Hughes, absolutely. Akeem Blake, absolutely.
Too many runners.
No, but here's my point. And a guy who you always try to sleep on, Marcel Jacobs. I'm saying to you, physically, this guy can repeat as Olympic. Let me finish, man. I'm saying to you, physically, this man can repeat as Olympic champion if he gets out of his own head, right? We also haven't mentioned, De Grasse. De Grasse is going to be in there playing like at the highest level. He's going to be someone there playing a role because he's always going to put himself in a position, to maximize when the lights are brightest, right? So I'm saying to you that I've missed out on lots. I missed a couple of guys from the UK.
Montoya.
Oh my God.
The Cuban just ran 9.9.
But this is my point. This is my point. I'm saying to you that this is gonna change. And my responsibility in my seat is to look at the greatest athletes that are out there, the best that they're gonna do, the greatest that they're gonna execute, and describe it for you.
All right. Fair enough. So you can't.
It's going to be changeable. It's interchangeable, man.
Esme and Cameroonian. I mean, Jesus, another one you can put in the mix. It's difficult. Okay.
Well, some of the younger guys who are not on the circuit,
right?
It's always tough for them to go through rounds because essentially every race is their last race. It's much easier, as you can see. There's a level of comfort when a professional athlete, because that's a difference. Some of these college kids never transition greatly on their first year out of college. But I'm saying to you, when you're a professional athlete, you understand the rounds. So some of the younger athletes who are the one-off fast times, they're not going to do well when it comes to rounds.
Right.
Oblique Seville is not an amateur athlete. He's a professional, and he's been there before. So again, a kid like that or a man like that, I expect him to do great things.
All right. Let's go to the ladies now. Enough of the guys, because we got to go back to the National Stadium in Jamaica. By the way, what a way to drop the curtain on that racers event with Oblique Seville pulling off the shocker against Noah Lyles.
Right.
Julien Alfred equaling the stadium mark, 10.78. Now the field, okay, some will say, wasn't the strongest.
Doesn't matter.
It was a bunch of young Jamaicans, the Claytons, the Reeds, blah, blah, blah.
Those are great athletes, though.
Right, but they're not ready yet.
Right. Well,
but
doesn't matter, though.
She ran a 10.78. But see, that's what I like to see. I don't care who you're running against, run through the stripe. And that's exactly what she did. She didn't ease up, and we'll get to Shikari, who did that in her win.
What's wrong with you, man?
Because, you know what? Practice makes perfect.
Is it, though?
I'm telling you right now, she's inside my top 3, Julien Alfred.
She was in your top 3 last year.
There you go.
Right.
But see, how come I have no problem giving you a top 5 or a top 3?
Well, no,
you can't do that for me.
Well, yours interchange. Well, I'm smarter, and I know exactly how the hell this thing works.
You know how to dodge a bullet is what you know how to do.
Well, that's a good thing, too, yes.
But yeah, let's talk about Julien Alfred, because right now, her 10.78, okay, it's not number 1 this year. That still belongs to Jacia Sears, who did that back in early April in Florida. Right. But still,
college
10.78, exactly. 10.78 for the pros. That is the fastest we've seen this year.
Well, here's the thing. Julien Alfred, I just said it, 2 seconds ago. Transitioning when you're in college, when you've got a full college year it's always tough when you go to the pros and every race that you run, it almost like it's a national record or is a personal best to get to the next round. Julien Alfred last year was new. Julien Alfred last year was just getting her feet wet in the pros. Julien Alfred today, Jason Portwando, is a full-blown pro, right?
Amen.
And so, obviously, training in Texas, great environment. That's where I trained. An incredible place to prepare you to win. And we know that she went to World Indoors. She got that first title under her belt. This year, it's absolutely incredible. And Julien Alfred went to Jamaica. By the way, Julien Alfred felt very at home in Jamaica, right? It's not her first time competing at the National Stadium. And running 10.78, that's a lot of, like, imagine the footsteps or the footprints that she's ran in. The Shelly-Anns and the Elaine Thompsons of the world and all the other, Merlene Oddie, Veronica, all of these incredible people that's been there throughout the years.
Veronica Campbell, yes.
Yeah. Julien Alfred is ready, bro. Julien Alfred.
Oh, she's ready, is she?
Yes, Julien Alfred's ready. However, you and I have these conversations. I don't want to digress. Julien Alfred's ready. Incredible time. She's also sending a message that she's ready, right?
Thank you.
She's a pro, so she knows how to run rounds, right? Elaine Thompson is still going to light it up. Shelly-Ann Fraser has yet to open, although you're a little skeptical about that.
Very skeptical.
All right.
I made a prediction. I hope I'm wrong because love her.
Right.
Big fan, but I do not see her making the podium.
Well,
the competition is
Shelly-Ann,
just too steep.
Shelly-Ann, hey, listen.
Father time is undefeated, and she's got to get going. She's not at that age where she can just flip a switch.
But you don't understand how it works when you're at that level, man. When you're at that level, I believe that Shelly-Ann Fraser is going to shock a lot of people. Well, no, hold
but
on.
in a good way or a bad way?
No, wait. I believe. No. Let me rephrase that.
Okay.
Jason believes that Shelly-Ann it's gonna shock Jason Portwando if Shelly-Ann makes it to the podium. You said
yes. If she makes the podium, I will be.
You've got to be joking.
You don't understand the way the competition is so thick.
No, wait. You don't understand. You don't understand that if someone like...
Is she 34, 36,
who
whatever
cares?
she is?
So how old is
But
Talu?
you just can't turn it on like that. But
Who are you telling?
I don't have Talu in my top three.
You got to be kidding me, dude.
I don't have Talu in my top three.
Jason, you got to be kidding. What I'm saying to you is that you don't know. I know. And I'm saying to you that...
I'm going right now Sharika, Sha'Carri, as well as Julien as my top three. Not in that order, but those are my top three.
Well, you're calling this out right now, and I
as of right now, yeah. As of right now, I'm saying that.
I need to see what trials look like. I need to see. I
understand that, but if somebody said to you right now, Donovan, who's your top three? I know you got it.
I can call out 5 names, but I'm not going to do that. The names that I speak of every week in, week out, or whatever are the people that always going to be players in the game, right? So I have to look and see exactly how it is that the season plays out. Shelly-Ann has not opened up yet. I think,
and that doesn't concern you.
No, but let me. Are you gonna? I'm gonna finish my thought.
Okay.
Right. Shelly-Ann has not opened up yet, unless she doesn't plan on running at all this season. She's in my top 3, no matter what. Right.
Is that your heart speaking or your head?
No. I don't. I don't speak with my heart a lot of times. This is the heart on the right side of my chest, the logical one. Right?
Okay.
So I'm saying to you that Shelly-Ann is going to open up. It's her last Olympics. She already said that. There is no way in hell that Shelly-Ann is going to show up injured or showing up not to win. That's number 1. Number 2, Elaine, although you're a little disappointed in her run, I'm saying to you that I know this personally. Every single Diamond League race, or every single race for that matter, before every major competition, I use it as practice, which simply means that I'm working on something. I'm tinkering with my race. Dan and I are talking about a strategy and what we need to use to get to that place where at the Olympics or World Championships, you're at your maximum. Now, post major championships, you're usually just going to get the bag anyways. What I'm saying to you is that, Elaine Thompson shows up every Olympic Games, right? Sharika, we know, and I've said this numerous times. Sharika thought she won the 100 meters. So she's going to come back and go get that, right? Elaine's coming.
Elaine's coming.
Elaine, well, I mean, you saw her run and you got disappointed. And you think that Shelly-Ann's just sitting at home looking out the window and enjoying a Mai Tai.
Well, for me, at least Elaine's been out there. The way you believe in Shelly-Ann, which is great, she could not run a race leading up to Olympics and you would still have her as your top 3.
I believe that she knows how to execute.
Sure, she's the GOAT.
In the middle.
She's the GOAT, but she's going to be 37 this year.
So what?
Come on.
So
man.
what? So what?
Be realistic.
So I am.
She needs to, if there's anybody who should be out there running, it's her. In my opinion, you need those races.
Well, I mean, we'll see how quickly you shut up after
Okay.
she opens up.
Okay.
After she and dude,
just like we had this conversation on this show last year about Marcel Jacobs, and you try to tell me otherwise.
I am telling you about capabilities. I mean, I'm telling you, Shelly-Ann Fraser can go to the Olympic Games, and I expect that she's going to be a player, just because of the history of what she's done.
What she's done.
No,
what
hold
she's
on.
done. You're right. And what is done mean? Past tense.
No, whatever, dude. Well,
Okay.
I'm just like I'm saying to you that Marcel Jacobs has all the physical tools today to repeat as Olympic champion.
I'm not a trade. You can go and get me all the physical tools needed to build a house. I'm not building that house. So, you know what? You're right. Marcel Jacobs, handsome man, physical specimen, but this is not a beauty contest.
Well,
he has yet to run sub 10.
That's okay.
That's not going to do it.
He had yet to run sub 10 when he went to Tokyo, too.
Well, you know what? I'm going to be the biggest idiot when Marcel Jacobs wins on the guy's side and Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce
What are we going to have you wear?
On the women's side. I will wear a half Italian, a half Jamaican onesie, top and bottom. I'll sew it together myself. All right?
I don't want to see that. Listen, I don't want to see that, and none of you all out there want to see that.
All right. Well, this to be continued. To be continued. But let's talk about another nation who's, quietly making strides and could have a very big outcome at the Olympics. Time for the Canadian segment, brought to you by the Great Canadian Sauce Company, where we get to talk about some athletes repping the red and white. Let's begin with Andre De Grasse. It's never easy to win twice in one day. You would agree, right?
Twice in one day?
Yes.
No, not really.
You think it's easy?
No, well, I mean, it depends.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know where you're going with this.
Well, I'm saying like if you run the 1 and the 2 in the same day.
Oh, it's easy. Of course, it's easy.
Wow.
It
Okay,
could
well,
be
that's
easy.
for you.
Well, you're asking me a question.
That's for you.
Right.
But
Well, it's not easy for Jason to go twice in one day. That's what he's saying.
Yes, in every sense of that phrase. Yes, you are right. Twice in one day, you were asking a bit much. One and done. I'm good. Okay, so Andre De Grasse, we're going to go to Ostrava because we know it's not part of the Diamond League, but still, it's still an important tour.
If there are professional athletes competing at your meet, whether or not it's a permit meet or a Diamond League meet, it is quite important because it is an opportunity for these athletes to show who they are.
Golden Spike, he wins the 1, he wins the 2, gets a season best as well.
Great for Andre.
He's kind of just flying under the radar, which I think is,
Well, no, I don't know.
Look at last year the way he finished up, right?
Well, there's no such thing about flying under the radar.
Well, because I think everybody puts the attention on the Jamaicans and the Americans, and I get it.
No, Andre's been on it. I mean, I'm saying to you that the consistency that he's showing right now is about being mentally and physically healthy. He went back to his old coach, his own stomping ground. I think he's training with Marcel and a few other guys that are doing quite well. So yeah, the consistency is great. The obviously I don't look at the times that he's ran.
When do you start looking at the times?
I look at the time after the finish line at the major championships. I don't really care about the time.
No,
it doesn't really matter. I mean, listen, if someone's running hellified fast, it is what it is. What I'm saying to you that at this point, time doesn't matter. I love the fact that Andre is executing and he's healthy, right? I mean, the fact is that if he gets left in the blocks, he stays relaxed, transitions, stays tall at 80 meters, and can win. That's great for him. Much the same way in the deuce. If you can get out the blocks, run a very hard corner, comes off the turn, stays tall and maintains speed, great for him. So he is setting himself up for for at least a consistent run over the season, getting ready to go to trials. Which trials this year in Canada is going to be quite interesting because they got a couple of young cats that are doing quite well. And also, all of these other guys that are in Jerome and Aaron and these guys in the relay program. So it's going to be real interesting. And I just want to see all those guys do well.
You speak of the 1 and the 2, which he did in one day, winning both. How about Audrey Leduc? She earlier this year set the record for the 1, finally erasing Angela Bailey. It seems like forever.
Right.
And now she's got the record in the 2 as well. So, yeah, she's another one that's, bringing it. And, I don't want to say she's peaking early, but, yeah, she's definitely making a name for herself.
Well, there's no peaking early because we don't know what her potential is. We don't know what time she's going to run this year. I mean, one of the things about her, it's really funny. Let me I'm going to compliment and probably criticize her in the same sense. I look at her and I'm thinking, you don't look like you're running that fast. But the clock always indicates that. So, Audrey, listen,
I hear you.
But it's absolutely not an insult. I think that you're an incredible sprinter. But what I'm saying to you is that you have made running fast, especially as a Canadian, look so easy. So congratulations on that. And you know what? Why not? It's been on the books forever. The times for the 1 and the 2, and she's today, Jason, we have a legitimate contender in the women's sprint, the 1 and the 2, in probably more than 30 odd years, that we're going to have an athlete who legitimately, if maximizing and peaking, as you just mentioned, at the Paris Olympics, a lady that could possibly make the finals in the 1 and the 2.
Yeah,
will be tough, but it'll be great. Great to see.
It was amazing. It was amazing to see her do that, put up a new mark for Canada, and man, I tell you what, that great to see. Great to see. And
amazing.
Great action at the Edwin Moses meet, and that was part of it. We did see Sha'Carri win quite easily. Right. 40 meters out, it felt like, and she was just jogging with her hands in the air like. She's a pocket rocket, man.
What's that? Don't say that. Don't insult Shelly-Ann. Well, there's only one pocket rocket.
Okay, you're right.
There's only one.
Right.
And listen, Sha'Carri's
I'll take that back. That I will give you.
Well, dude, whatever, man. Sha'Carri obviously is extremely confident based upon her performances last year. That's still going to be a tough team. I mean, it's going to be. Yeah. Like she's going to run fast.
That meet might be better than the Olympics.
What's that?
The trials for the U.S.
The trials for the U.S. the women's competition at the U.S. trials, the men's competitions at the U.S. trials, the women's competitions at the Jamaican trials.
Oh my gosh.
That's going to be almost as good as, if not better, than the finals at the Paris Olympics. So yes, Sha'Carri again. I mean, we can talk, Jason, about 6 to 8 women right off the bat, about 6 to 8 women that can play a significant role in Paris.
We didn't even talk about. We talked about her last week. I think it was last week. No, a couple weeks ago because we weren't on last week. Sydney McLaughlin, Lavrone. I mean, she comes out and runs a 400 and it's a world leading time like it's nothing.
But it's different. It's different for Sydney though, because I think Sydney's no, but it's not that. I just think she's in a league by herself.
Oh yeah, I agree.
I think that her and Femke Bol are going to have a nice competition there. Maybe Delilah Mohammed, but I don't think that. I think that Sydney, if she runs how she's supposed to, she's going to separate herself very quickly from the athletes that she's competing against.
Yeah, she's phenomenal. I mean, I don't know what other way to put it. I mean, she comes out, runs like once every 10 years, it feels like, and all she does is beat the field going 200, put up a world-leading time in the 4 hurdles, and yeah, she's phenomenal. You know what else is phenomenal?
What's that?
The way we get to wrap up every edition of Donovan Bailey Running Things, running that anchor leg.
A cleaning stream to Donovan Bailey is pouring it up.
Now, we don't mind mentioning other podcasts on this podcast because it's healthy competition. We're not afraid of them.
Competition.
And we know that Shannon Sharpe's got himself, a nice little podcast as well. All right? But Shannon, because what he said recently.
What's that?
He's an awesome guy. But him mentioning things like Tyreek Hill being able to beat Usain Bolt going 40 meters. He even said Christian Coleman could beat Usain Bolt going 40 meters.
He probably can.
Now, I don't know if he's talking about Usain now because obviously he's not training. He's probably not in the
Right.
shape he was in before. But
Right.
I don't think there was any point where Usain Bolt, and I know he's a notoriously slow starter, but what's your take on this?
Where we go? Well, I mean, Tyreek. Listen, here's the thing. Usain walking on the track in street clothes and a pair of dress shoes can beat any football player. But I'm just saying to you, at my age, I would challenge the top 5 football player. I mean, that's what I'm saying to you. I mean, you just don't understand the kind of speed. You don't understand, the technical aspect. Christian Coleman, how the football players have always measured their 40 times. Christian can run 10.6. Sorry, not 10.6. 3.6, 3.5, 3.6, 3.7. That's Coleman's time as the football players measure their speed. So Shannon is awesome. Got one of the greatest platforms in the world today. My man, football speed and track speed are different speeds. One of them is you're on a straight line and your trajectory is just to go forward, which simply means that you have blinding speed. A football player usually runs flat-footed because you got to stop, turn, pivot, all those things. So real speed versus football speed is not even close.
If you could do it again, would you play football instead of running track and field?
Well, no. Why would I want someone to? No. Well, I got drafted, so why would
Jefferson just signed a 4-year, $140 million deal. You wouldn't do that?
Well, Justin Jefferson. Well, I mean, listen, the kind of money that's been passed around in sports today.
Yeah.
For me, I just wish that I had an option to be this young, to have to have all these possibilities. I mean, that's what it is. Yeah, all of these incredible athletes. Get in the bag. You deserve it all, man. If you put the time in, you're going to get the results.
Nicoy Bramwell, got to mention his name. He's a 16-year-old at the Carifta Games. Broke Usain Bolt's record from 22 years ago. He went in 47.26. Beat the record by 0.07 seconds. So as much as Bolt has done, do you think eventually we're going to see his records go in the 1 and the 2?
All records are made to be broken. All records. I mean, you've said that all along. I mean,
has yours been broken?
All records. Well, I mean, my Canadian record hasn't, then the 50 meter, the world indoor record's still there.
I don't know about all records.
No, I'm just saying, but all records.
Okay.
All records will be broken. All records will be broken at some point. To repeat, to be Olympic champion or world champion, these are all things that are etched in stone for as long as history is history.
2 quick things on the way out. The people want to know. The world record holder, Kipruto, recently banned 6 years. What they want to know is this. Is this good because, yes, we're cleaning up the sport? Or is it bad, meaning, no, the sport is still tainted? Which side do you see it on?
Anytime that there's an opportunity for money, medal, clout, fame, there's always going to be cheating.
Wow. You and I don't agree on much.
Well, that's great. Thank you. That's why you're here.
Wow. Give me a winner on the way out. Dallas, Boston.
Dallas.
Wow. And I got 1 word out of him. It took 385 shows, but it finally happened. We got 1 word out of you.
Dallas is who I got, man.
I'm with you. I really feel like...
What?
I know. I think Kyrie goes back to Boston and gets the final word.
I think that Kyrie and Luka are going to light him up, man.
All right. Hope you're right. Anyways, always a pleasure, man. Each and every week. We always need your support. So tune in. Link us, light us up. Always. Thank you for the company and take us out. Won't give me a top 3. Won't give me a top 4.
They ain't going to give you nothing, man.
All right, I know.
Like, subscribe. Great to be with you this week. See you next week.
Man.